You might want to put the shredded cheese down. That's snow on your tacos. A lot of it isn't cheese doing you any favors. Let's start with the anti-caking trick that keeps bag shreds loose in the bag and limp on your dinner. We'll read the label line by line, show you which additives are doing the heavy lifting, and why your sauce breaks, your pizza greases out, and your wallet pays for convenience. Stick around to see the brands that keep it honest, and how a simple block and a grater flip the cost, the melt, and the flavor back in your favor. You think you bought cheese. The label reads like a lab worksheet. That snowy handful. A chunk of it isn't there to taste good or melt clean. It is there to survive a ride in a warm truck, a bright store shelf, and a cold fridge without turning into a solid brick. The truth is, pre-shredded has to stay loose while temps swing and humidity creeps, so the bag gets more than milk, salt, and culture. It gets insurance. You pay for that insurance in the pan. Let's start with why the bag needs help. Those fine shreds have loads of cut edges.
It's crazy risky that we've got one ingredient going and producing all this cheese. We're on a bit of a panic mode that what are we going to do as a replacement?
But finding a replacement mold in the wild can be really hard. Many cheesemakers globally get their Penicillium camemberti mold freeze-dried from labs in France. This includes Simon Berry, who runs the Whitestone Cheese Company in Oamaru, New Zealand.
We rely on molds to give us all this flavour and all this creativity.
Cheeses injected with molds like Camembert and Gorgonzola tend to have more pungent and complex flavors than those made without it, like mozzarella or cheddar.
More edges mean more surface for moisture to stick and fat to smear. In transit, the inside of the bag warms, then cools, then warms again every time a door opens or a case cycles. Tiny beads of water form. Without a buffer, the shreds weld together. So brands add powders that grab water, coat the surface, and keep the pile fluffy even when the back of the truck feels like a hair dryer and the dairy case kicks on and off all day. But here's the kicker. The front shouts 100% real cheese. Flip it over and the list tacks on cellulose, potato starch, calcium sulfate, natamycin. So which part is the 100%? The cheese is real. The rest is also real, just not cheese. The label can legally pair that claim with non-cheese agents because the cheese fraction itself is not fake. It's a neat trick that puts a halo on a product engineered more for shipping than cooking. Let's walk that label like a receipt. First line, the cheese type, cheddar, mozzarella, Monterey Jack. That is milk, culture, enzyme, salt. Next line, cellulose. Then potato starch. Then calcium sulfate. And a preservative, often natamycin. Each one has a job, and none of those jobs is making your lasagna taste better.
One of our first ways of making shredded cheese was actually putting slices of cheese through a pasta cutter that then we would hand pack into packages for people to enjoy. It fits our values as a family, it fits our values as a company, and what's made them such a strong partner is how they help us bring innovations to families.
I don't think I ever imagined that I would work in a cheese company, but working with family and also among people who have become family over the years, that's one of the reasons why I love working here.
Cellulose first. It's purified plant fiber, often sourced from wood pulp or other plant matter. Think of it as dry, tasteless sponge dust. It drinks up surface moisture so the shreds don't glue themselves together. It also creates a thin barrier that keeps fat from oozing out and binding shreds into a gooey lump in the bag. That same barrier shows up in the skillet. It slows melt and muffles aroma release. Like sawdust and wet paint, it keeps things from flowing. So heat gives you more sweat than stretch. Potato starch plays wingman. It's a fine powder that swells with water, pads the edges, and cuts friction so the pile pours like sand. But starch gels when heated. That lifts the melting point and pulls water away from the protein network that should be turning stringy. In a sauce, that gel can turn the texture thin yet oddly pasty, with a faint chalky finish that fights the silk you want.
No matter the mold content, cheesemakers add rennet to curdle the milk, separating it into solid curds and liquid whey. This is one of the only automated steps in the process. The machine can lift nearly 500 pounds of curds and tip them over the ring molds.
It's going to turn as almost like a custard texture.
They dip in this giant knife to cut it in one direction and then the other. Workers move as fast as they can to fill each one by hand. The company donates all the liquid that drains out to local farms for animal feed.
Calcium sulfate is a firming salt. It binds water and helps set the cheese when it's made. In bag shreds, it adds more mineral bones to the surface. That makes pieces hold their shape longer, which is great for shelf life and lousy for seamless melt. You heat, the edges stiffen, and the fat separates faster than the proteins can catch up. Now natamycin. It's an anti-mold agent. A pinch keeps fuzzy friends off the shreds as the bag moves from plant to warehouse to store to your fridge. In tiny amounts, it does its job and passes through your life without drama. But its presence tells you the product is designed to wait. Time on a truck, not time over heat.
Probably not quite as salty as the Dead Sea, but we add salt to it twice a week.
That brine adds flavor and serves as a natural preservative. In just 2 weeks, the Penicillium camemberti creates a fluffy layer on the outside and turns the inside sweet. Smaller rounds are packed in another room using this machine. But no matter the size, each wheel ends up being creamy, mild, and buttery, with a slight funk.
Not domesticate in 1 to 3 generations. It really needs time to evolve, to adapt, to be domesticated.
Here's a quick kitchen test you can run. 2 pans, same burner level. In one, toss a handful of bagged shreds. In the other, take a block and grate right before it hits the pan. The fresh pile slumps, glosses, and pulls into long strands that cling to a spoon. The bag pile beads oil around the edges, softens, and then stalls. It wants to melt, but the coating says no. The real kicker is the legal wiggle room. 100% real cheese sits on the front while asterisks live on the back. You paid extra for the shredding and the powders. You got speed. You lost melt. And some flavor rode off with the anti-cake. Now let's follow the money, because the same additives that pad the bag's shelf life also pad the price tag. And they do it while taxing the taste you were trying to buy. The convenience tax is real.
This makes it easier to control the salt levels. Too much and the cheese might taste too bitter. Also, they can't put these in the same bath as the white cheeses because they don't want to cross-contaminate the molds. It was discovered on a hay bale on a farm 2 hours away.
The hay bale was also wrapped, and that kept the moisture in there. At high altitudes, that would have been cold, and a very similar environment to a blue cheese in its cage.
After up to 6 months, the wheels are ready for packing. This device slices the big wheels in half, and then into wedges.
Those powders protect the bag, not your dinner. A block and a box grater give you the melt you want, the fuller flavor you miss, and you pay less per ounce. It's faster than you think, and the payoff shows up in the pan. Read the label. If it lists starches or cellulose, leave it. Grab blocks, grate what you need, stash the rest. Share this with the friends still buying cheese confetti. The truth is, small habit, big upgrade. Next time, we'll name the brands that keep it honest and test which blocks shred clean without clumping on a weeknight.